Okay, this is the All-Star break. The Indians are in first place by 2.5 games. I mean, that's the good news. But there's a whole bunch of stuff around the Indians that I don't want to hear. Number one, I don't want to hear about the Cubs being under 500, out of first place. Like somehow what the Cubs are doing has something to do with the Indians are doing because they both were in the World Series. Well, I got news for the Indians and the Cubs. Look at the years 2014 and 15. In 2014, the Royals went to the World Series and lost. 2015, they blew through the American League, wiped out, I mean, the race was over in August, and they won the World Series. And frankly, that was sort of the mission type of thing I hoped I would see from the Indians, and I'm sure Cubs fans are hoping the same from their team, but we don't care about the Cubs. So number one, I don't want to hear about the Cubs, World Series hangover. Don't want to hear it. And I'll say this, from spring training on, Terry Francona said the same thing. No, we don't want to hear it, but it keeps coming up. Number two. All right, I've got all this notebook scribbles. Here we are. They have this thing about how, in fact, there was a respected analytics website called 538, or how the Indians secretly are better than last year. It's such a secret, nobody can figure out why, including the standings. And it has to do with a lot of things, but they go down to this thing called run differential. Run differential, how many more runs you have scored than your other team. If you're in a big plus in run differential, that means the more you're ahead, the more games you win, etc. There's a problem with that. It doesn't always correlate. Scribbles, notebook, a few stats of my own. For example, when the Indians recently played the Padres, the Indians outscored the Padres 13-9. But the Indians lost 2 games to the Padres because they scored 11 of those 13 runs in one game. It looks good, but it doesn't count. For example, here. Right now, Houston is blowing everybody away. They're plus 162. I mean, they're just killing everybody. But the team with the next best plus in terms of runs, New York Yankees, plus 98. They're 45 and 41. Then, here comes your Indians. They're third. You see the Indians, 7 games over 500. Shoot, they're plus 74. They should be 10, 12 games under if you believe all this. You know, I don't want to hear Cubs. I don't want to hear plus. Then I've heard the stats guy, well, it just has to do with luck. They say your home record has to do with kind of luck. It sort of evens itself out. No, you know how you win at home? You play better at home. That's how you even it out. You just play better. Just like last year when the Indians had the best home record in the American League. They played better at home. They had a sense of purpose. They won games late. All those kind of things. You know, and then finally, something I don't want to hear about the Indians. You know, I just don't want to hear that, well, you know, they've had some injuries and so on, and they are in first place. The Central Division is not very good. But this is the problem. If you play mediocre, you keep Kansas City's hopes alive. You can keep Minnesota's hopes alive. And then suddenly you're in a much tougher race than you think. So there's a bunch of stuff about the Indians, things I don't want to hear. I want to see, by the way, this stuff here, I'm just had it with those stats. There's a couple other things to look at. Francisco Lindor, since June 1st, you're batting .230. Come on, do a better job than that. You're an all-star, .230. And by the way, Lindor's fielding ratings are down. The last 2 years, this thing called Fangraphs, which is an analytic thing, rates defense. Francisco Lindor, the #1 defensive shortstop in all of baseball. This year, he's #6 in the American League. He's not terrible, but he's not as good. They need Lindor to step up. I want to see more from Encarnacion. We know about Kipnis has been hurt, and he struggled. Santana's been hurt and struggled. Actually, Santana hasn't been hurt. His bat's been sick. That's been about it. But again, we'll look at a couple things. You know, thank goodness Lonnie Chisenhall and Jose Ramirez, in many ways, have been carrying the offense. And thank goodness that Brad Zimmer has come up from the minors and really taken over in center field, given the team some athleticism, some hustle. I want to see more of that kind of Zimmer spirit with the rest of these guys. And I don't want to hear anything about the luck, the Cubs, run differential, luck at home, luck on the road. No more luck. Go out and win some games.